Good evening and welcome to our Facebook Live this evening. My name's Jenny McCormack and I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the market town of Brackley, which is in the centre of the UK. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. If you joined us yesterday, you will have seen me make these two boxes. And this one was our first one, just showing you how to basically measure up a gift item. And it could be an unusual shape like this. And how to then create a box based on that. Good evening, Kerry, or should I say good morning, Kerry, to you in Australia. So this was one suitable for a glue, and then we have this one here, which I made for a little hand cream. So I measured the hand cream. I have popped it in with a little bit of bubble wrap behind. Really should use tissue paper, and that's because I wanted it to sit quite high up in the box, because obviously it's not even right the way through, and I wanted the in the garden bit to show through our little window here. Hi Susan, thanks for joining us. So this is what we created yesterday, and I showed you how to measure and do that, so you can do that for your own gifts. And this really is perfect if you buy some little gifts or some gift boxes and separate things up. Even if it's just chocolates, you could buy one of those I'm trying to think what they call them. They have a name, don't they? It's like a multi-pack of different chocolates at this time of year. And what you could do is buy one of those, separate out the chocolates and put them each into a little gift box. So I'm carrying on with that this evening. So yesterday we did boxes with lids, and we've got this little cutout here as well. Hi Tracy. Today we're going to do a pizza style box. Now I did do these recently relatively recently at a class, and I know that because of the paper, so it must have been after the summer. And this is a pizza style box, so it's a single piece, so it's all made out of one piece of card, so you are limited to the size of the card if you want to make it in one piece, which is by far the easiest way to do it. So I'm going to show you how to measure and calculate the different elements for this box. And this just shuts like that, and you can decorate it on the front. Here's another example of that here, like so. So we're going to recreate that, and funnily enough I have found a soap, and I think either myself or my daughter was given this soap, and it came in a tin, and I wanted to use the tin for something else. Can't remember what it was, and I can't even see the tin, so I don't know what I did with it. So now I've got a soap just in its tissue wrapping, so I thought this is perfect to put this into a box of its own. And this is quite a light fresh freesia colour. Hi Dee. So I thought I would use our coordinating cardstock and some of this lovely paper. Now this is the same paper pack that we used yesterday, that features those lovely delicate flowers. And one of the pieces happens to be this lovely fresh freesia design, which I thought works perfectly with our soap. So I'm just going to fold this up so I'm not handling the soap too much. So let's just, I might put a little bit of tape on there. Okay, only because I don't really want to handle that. if I gift it to somebody else, doesn't really want my prints all over it, does it? So I'm just using a little bit of, I think then, a little bit of tape on there. Okay, so this is going to be our paper for decoration. I don't know whether I'll get it out of this piece or not, so these are just some offcuts, and obviously I'm just going to use pieces of this to decorate the box. So this is going to be card that I use, and I'm going to show you exactly as I did yesterday. So this was yesterday's calculations, and I'm going to show you how I measure for this particular box. So it's very, very similar, okay, but there is just a very slight difference. So I'm just going to use the back of this and a pen to show you how we're going to measure for a box. Now this is obviously actually a square soap, but I'm going to measure it as if it was, it could be a rectangle, it could be anything. Okay, so you could really wrap up anything you wish. So this is the style of box that we're going to do. Okay, so what we need to do is measure obviously the width, the height of it, and also the depth. Okay, so let's first of all do the width, and I need to take my glasses off to do that. Now obviously this is in a little bit of wrapping, so it's not going to be exact. So I'm going to make this, I'll make this 7 centimeters. Okay, so if I draw here my box, if you like, so the first thing I'm going to do is just work out my measurements. Okay, so this width is 7 centimeters. Okay, now I am just going to check this because it's easy to get it wrong, isn't it? Hi Brenda. And the height here is 7 centimeters, and then I need to know the depth of it, if you like, here. And so that depth is, I'm going to make that 2.5. Hi Carol, hi Katie. So it's 2.5. Okay, hopefully I haven't added too much bulk with this piece here. Okay, so in order to do this box, what I'm going to calculate is how I cut my piece of card. So the first thing I want is the height here. So my first calculation, if you like, if I draw this out for my box, I'm hoping you can see that. Okay, so the first height here is the depth, which is 2.5 centimeters. The next bit I've got is the box base. Obviously my drawing is not to scale, is 7 centimeters. Then I've got the back piece, so that is another 2.5 centimeters. Then I've got the piece that's coming up over the top, and that will be 7 centimeters. And then the final bit I've got is this piece at the front, okay, and that will be 2.5. Okay, so let me know if that makes some sense. So I've got the bit down the front, which is the height. I've got 7. I've got 2.5 going up the back, 7 here, and 2.5. So I know that my whole piece of card in that direction needs to be, so that's 7.5 and 14, that's 21.5. Do we agree with that? 9.5 and 9.5. That's 19, 20, 21.5. Okay, so I know that this measurement here needs to be 21.5, and then I just need to measure the width. Okay, so the width is obviously going across ways. I've got 7 centimeters in the middle, and I've got the two sides, 2.5 and 2.5. So I make that, so let me write that down in there, 2.5, 2.5. So this width here needs to be 12, which is 7 and 5. I'm hoping that's making sense. Oh, I need to move this up a little bit. Okay, so my box, when I cut out my piece of card, assuming I've measured everything correctly, needs to be 21.5 centimeters by 12. And then this will give me, my 2.5 will give me my scoring down the side. So if you like, I've added on here. And then these will become my score lines along that long side. So let's cut that and see how we go. Now, as I said yesterday, don't cut your best card, but equally don't cut something out in really cheap card, because if it's really cheap it will bend and buckle and it'll go out of shape. Okay, so 21.5 by 12. I know that this width is 21 unfortunately, so I do need to turn this round to get to 21.5. So I'm just extending my ruler out here. And our Stampin' Up trimmers are perfect for this because we've got score blades as well as cutting blades, and it goes in excess of 12 inches. It actually goes to A3. So if you have a 3 card, you can cut this on our trimmer. So I'm going to look for 21.5, and I'm going to cut that, and 12 centimeters, let me double check, in that direction. Like so. So that is my piece, and hopefully, if I think about it, yeah, that should sort of fold over. So what I'm going to do is do my score lines, and I've got my little grid here. So the first thing I'm going to do is 2.5 centimeters down either side, because that will be the side of my boxes. And on our trimmer we have a 2.5 centimeters on the right hand side, which makes life a lot easier because you can put the bulk of the card up here. The alternative is to do 2.5 like this, but then you've got a lot of the card hanging over the edge. So I like to turn it round like I told you yesterday and do 2.5 from that side, rather than calculate. I know this is really easy obviously but rather than calculate and add it on, where you're more likely to make a mistake. Okay, and then that bit that I've got left there should be 7 centimeters, which it is. So I've got 2.5, 7 and 2.5. And now I'm going to do this scoring along here. So it's actually, I've actually rounded it up to 7 to make life easier for me and for you. So I'm going to score at 2.5, 9.5, 12, 19, and then that should give me 21.5. And if you struggle to do that calculation in your head when you're cutting and scoring, then I would write it down. So I know that the first one will be 2.5. The next one will be 2.5 plus 7. So, and I apologise if this is going back to basics and you've seen this before, but I do know that we have a lot of new crafters that follow me, and therefore I want to be able to show you how to do that. So 9.5, and then I've got 2.5 onto that, so that's 10, 11, 12, plus my 7 will be 19, and then that last bit should be 2.5 to make 21.5. So I now know, without looking at it, I need to score 2.5, 9.5, 12 and 19. Fingers crossed. This, you know, these things can go wrong. So let's do 2.5 first. Let's move everything out of my way. I apologize, I know you can't see these the measurements or the score line because it's too far away from the camera. So 2.5, 9.5, 12, and then let's move this out of the way, 19. So this is going to get me a single box, so one piece rather than a lid and a box. Okay, so although it might seem slightly more complicated, oh thanks Kerry, that's fair enough Carol, that's fair enough. I forgot what I was going to say now. No, it's gone completely. I apologise. So I appreciate you can't see the scoring, although I have used a light card. So this is known as a pizza box design because obviously, I mean, this isn't square like a pizza box, but it opens like a pizza box does. Okay, like so. So you end up with one single piece. So I'm going to first of all just score along those lines that I have created and use a bone folder if I could find it. I'm right in the middle of tidying up the debris which is known as my craft room. So I'm not actually seeing my bone folder at the moment, so bear with me. So I'm going to fold across all of those, so that's at my 2.5, and that, if you remember, was the height of my soap. And then I'm going to fold these ones in, and then at this point you can do a quick sort of check because you can see how that's going to work. There's my box there, and you can do a quick check to see is it going to work. Okay, where those folds are. Okay, if I missed a bit, have I got too much? One of the common problems is that when you're scoring these, you get one bigger than the other. And a good way to do that is just fold it over and make sure that it is even. Okay, because it's really easy to miss it by 0.5 centimetre. Obviously, I've rounded up to nice even numbers. So there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to cut in from the edges in the same way that we do for all of our boxes. And if you see this one here, I'm not sure that you can see where I've got my tabs, and I have cut into the tabs like we did yesterday, but leave all of the edges absolutely flat. So no cutting in of these edges to get a really nice sharp crisp edge. So I'm going to cut in 1, 2, and I'll measure these for the papers once I've done this element. But I think what I'll do today is put it together and then add the papers just to show you something different. So because I made a mistake yesterday, I'm not going to repeat that and get carried away. So cut in all of those corners on each side where you've got a score line up to that score line, and then the only pieces you're going to take little chunks out of to make it sit nicely are the tabs. Okay, we're not going to cut this one at all. Okay, my washing machine is taking off, you might be able to hear that. Okay, and then tabs only. And for anybody who didn't see yesterday's session, where I created this box here, or was it the lid? Oh, it was this one. Here we go. I don't think you can see it actually, but this has got a really nice sharp corner. This one has got here where I cut it in, and the danger is that when you cut it in you don't get it the same on all four sides. Okay, right, so I've cut in my tabs on that side. I'm going to do the same on this side. One, two, four, 6. Okay, let's move those out of the way. So now if I just show how this box is going to go, and it doesn't matter which end I start from. Okay, so our tabs are going to go in here to create that corner box, and then we've got the tabs that will come in the middle. I'll just tuck those in like so. So that's going to create our base. And then we have this piece on the top with the tabs that will be in like so, and then that will fold down. Obviously it doesn't look quite as tidy when I'm holding it, but you'll get the impression of that. Okay, and with any luck our soap will still fit in the middle of all of that. I'm just holding that flat, I'm not folding it properly. So there we have a custom box for our little soap. Okay, so let's add our glue. And I'm going to make this the front. So what I'm going to do is do a little notch out of here. So if I do that, what I want to actually do is put that piece of paper on first. Okay, now on my boxes I haven't done the base, I've only done those elements. Okay, so if you've got plenty of papers, then go ahead and decorate the whole thing. So it's important I know that this is the base, so that I know to put the notch in the top. So what I'm actually going to do is write on here, and I'm just going to do it in pencil, that's where the notch needs to go. I can find it. Okay, so that's going to be my front base. This is going to be the one with the notch. Okay, so I'm just quickly going to cut the papers, and I might as well cut them all while I'm here for each of these sides. Now this is another good reason to sort of have your box part assembled, because you may not want to cover the inside of the box you may only want to cover the top piece and these side pieces and the front. Does that make sense? Okay, you don't need to do the sides that are going to be hidden or anything else like that. So what I like to do is roughly put it together, and then this wants to have paper, this wants to have paper, and this one wants to have paper. And I deliberately put a P, not an X, because then I know which way up I want the paper to go. If I had a design that goes in one direction, so this one here, the flowers are going up. What I don't want is the flowers going crossways here. I want them going up as well. Okay, does that make sense? So I only actually need paper on those pieces. So I'm just going to measure those, and as I said, hi Donna, what I did previously, when you've got your template, and if you've got a lot of these, if you had a lot of soaps that you wanted to decorate, then I would write on here, you know, the soap and what it is, and keep this as a template so I don't have to go through all the measuring again next time round. So I'm going to write on here the papers with their size. So I'll take my glasses off, sorry folks. So this was obviously 7 centimeters, so I'm going to make this 6.8 by 6.8. That should be square. And I just need one of those. And then these two are the sides, and this is the side, and because they are square and these are the same height, all I need are 3 that will be 6.8. It's like a maths lesson, I'm sorry. And then the height of this was 2.5, so I'm going to make that 2.3. I only want it a little bit smaller. So if I keep that on my template, I know then next time I need a piece of card 12 by 21.5. These are my score lines, and this is the size of the papers that I need. So I have some of this lovely paper here, and so I've got they're all actually going to be 6.8. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm not sure if I can get that out of that piece. Let me just cut that little piece off there. Now this does have a bit of a direction, but it's not actually that big an area that I think it would matter, but I'll have a look and see. So what I'm going to do first of all is cut a piece that is 6.8 in width. I'm just going to use this odd piece here, like so. And then I'm going to cut first of all my square off it, so another 6.8, like so, and that's going to be that piece on the top. And then I've got the 3 other pieces, and they're going to be 6.8 by 2.3. So I've got my 6.8, so glasses off, 2.3, 2.3, oh that was lucky, 2.3. Now I could actually if that one will fit, add one for the back piece as well. Yeah, actually I did that on those. So 4 pieces I need. So let me update my sheet. Now if you're just doing a one-off, you don't need to make a note of these. Okay, so if you literally got, which I have, one soap that is that size, then I don't really need to keep that information, but you could photograph it. If you have a smartphone, you could just keep a record of it in a book, whatever you want to do. Okay, so this is going to go on there, but what I want to do is my front piece first. So what I'm going to do is attach that and then punch out a little notch like I've got here for the front of the piece of box. So just going to add that with some glue. So I hope everybody's had a good day. I've had a busy but interesting day. Let's add a little bit. So remember, not too much glue and not too close to the edge. Okay, so I'm just going to slide this on. That will help it stick. And the reason I'm doing this before I put the box together is only because I want to punch the notch out. So I'm going to grab a punch. Now you could use your corner rounder here around the corners if you wanted to. I could do the same on this one. Let me grab a circle punch, and I'm just roughly going to centre that between the 2 panels like that. Okay, so I've got a nice little tidy notch, and I think I will round these corners. So I've got a corner rounder here on this punch. Just going to pop it into the corner, press in the centre, not on the edge of the punch, let's press it in the centre. And I think this paper is so pretty. It's Fresh Freesia is the colour, Stampin' Up colour, and you probably all know that we do love our coordination. So this is going to be that front piece. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is put my box together and then just add the pieces after. So the same as we did yesterday. We're going to fold these pieces in, and I'm going to work this is the front. I'm going to do the front one first. So these 2 are going to fold in like that. Okay, yeah, and I'm actually going to make it easier to do, I'm going to turn it over. Add a little bit, this is about to run out, but I think I'll be right, a little bit of glue. And if you were watching yesterday, you want to let that glue just start to go tacky. Alright, so you want to leave it 10 seconds or so, okay, for it to start going tacky, because then what will happen is when you attach it to the next piece of card, because it's tacky, it will hold on to it quickly. If it's very wet and very liquid, it will just sort of peel itself apart. So just give it 10 or so seconds for that to start going tacky. And then I'm going to tuck this one up. So just take the time, get a nice corner on it. Oh, hi Sarah. Haven't seen you for ages. I hope everybody's well. Hope the children and the family are well. Okay, and then we've got this one here. So I don't know if you can see, but that catches really quickly if you just let it, you know, just let it start drying. Literally 10 seconds is all you need, and then it'll hold really nicely. Okay, so the next bit we've got is the base and the top of the box. Now there's two ways of gluing these down. You can either glue this base in place like that and have the top come over, or you can glue this piece, it's quite difficult to show, but you can glue this piece to the top like that, so the whole thing comes over the base. Now that is my preferred way to do it, because you get actually a tighter fit. Okay, so I'm actually going to do it that way, and it is a little bit back to front because you would expect to put that on the base. Okay, but we're actually going to attach these tabs to the top. So let's fold those in and do that. It doesn't matter if you put it on the base, and I'll show you the difference. So it's, you know, it's really not critical. And the fact that we've cut those tabs in a little bit just means that we shouldn't have any excess. So bit of scribble for that. Give it 10 or so seconds. And if you are doing a box like this for the first time, I would just do one set of tabs at a time. So do that set, the next set, doesn't matter which way you start really, rather than having glue on all of them and then getting glue all over your hands. There's nothing more frustrating than that. Okay, so this one is going to go, this tab is going to go on my top piece. I'm just going to hold that bit there. It's a bit more difficult to to show you. Let's see if I can do it like that. If I keep that straight. There we go. So I've attached this to the top pieces. So you still want a nice tidy edge, like so. Now if you do attach it to the bottom, it really doesn't matter, and that's what I've done with these, and I'll show you the difference. Okay. Alright, and then the final bit then is to pop these tabs inside here. Okay, so it gets a little bit unwieldy at this point, which is why I do recommend just doing a set of tabs at a time, because we want, obviously we want these to go in, because I've got my P here for my patterned paper. You could put crosses on your tabs just to remind you which side they need, which side you're adding the glue. Doesn't want to come out, does it? I have picked up an old one, but I think I'll be alright. You can use tape if you like for this, but I would say it just doesn't give you the wiggle room to get it lined up. It can fix itself so quickly and you can't undo it, and that's why I do prefer to use wet glue. So this one is going to go under there, and before it sets, that one goes under there. So I've got my 3 P's showing up on the top. And again, just giving that 10 seconds or so. I was a little bit quick really putting those together. If you have added too much glue, then use a paper clip or something to hold it in place, stop it moving, and then when it's all set, remove the paper clip and any excess glue. Okay, so now let's put our little soap in. I do need to decorate it, obviously, and this piece will come over and it will be a bit of a tight fit. Actually, quite a lot of a tight fit. Let me just ease it in like so. Oops, so I made that a little bit too tight. Okay, let's give it, there we go. So I want to show you the difference between these two. So this one I added the tab to the top. This one I added the tab to the bottom, and it means that this opens and closes much more freely, but it also means that this piece sticks out a little bit, not excessively. You could put ribbon around it, whereas on this piece, and I know I forced it in a little bit, can you see it's completely flat on those sides? Okay, so let's do a bit of decorating. And what I might do, yes, let's do this decorating. So this is my front. Get that the right way around. Pop that on there. So I may have made that a little bit tight on there. But let's decorate it first. So I'm just adding some glue. And again, wet glue, not right to the edge. Check you've got it in the right direction. I think that's right. Now I rounded the corners of this. So if I was giving this as a gift, I'd probably round all of the corners or leave them all square. There's one. And I've got these three pieces left, one for each side and one for the back. So let's pop those on. Making sure that they are the right way round. I cut them all in the same direction because I cut the 6.8 centimetre panel all the way down. Okay. So let's pop that on. Slide it into place. And then let's pop one on the back. And again, just make sure if you've got directional paper that it's in the right direction. Okay, now I've made this a little bit tight, which is why this is pulling a little bit in the front. So a way to prevent some of that is to trim a little bit of this edge so that it's not hitting the top. So I'm just going to do that, and all I'm going to do is take my glasses off and cut that at a slight angle. I definitely won't do this normally until I put it together, because you may not need it. It just depends on how accurate your scoring is. Okay, so what that allows this piece to do is tuck under there a little bit better. It's still a little bit tight, isn't it? There we go, that's better. So let's try it with our soap. Okay, it's quite snug. It's the Scottish Fine Soap Company. There we go, who knew? So I am just going to bend that in a little bit. There we go. Okay, so there's our decorated box that fits that, and that is, it's literally, there's no room for maneuver. I have got tissue paper wrapped around it, so and I measured the soap. No, I measured it with the paper, didn't I? So with that, you've got your little notch here that will help you open it. You could design a tag to go on the top. I know this is the wrong colour, but you could add a little tag like that. You could add a label like we've done here. Thinking of you. I didn't on these ones, I didn't do a little notch. Okay, and I seem to remember that these boxes fit 2 tombos. And last time I did that, I put them in there and then I couldn't find my tombos and I wondered where they'd gone. So there we go. So there we have it, a little pizza style box for a custom box for a soap. I've given you instructions on how you can recreate that from scratch, how you measure your soap across upwards and then obviously the depth of it. From that, calculating your panel going down, the width of your panel going across, and the height is always the amount that you will do your scoring. So I hope that makes sense. So I do think I need some ribbon and stuff around this, but I have a sneaking suspicion I don't have any fresh freesia to hand. Let me have a quick look. Oh, I do. There we go. Love this. Oh, thank you everybody, that's really kind. So you could wrap this round either way, obviously because it's square it doesn't make any difference at all. Like so. And then you could add a little tag or a little label. Let's just tidy that. Like so. And that takes it from, in my case, a soap without a tin to a very pretty little gift that you know, if you're doing little table gifts and you've got little things of chocolates, if you've got little packets of sweets for the children, it's a perfect excuse to bling them up a bit, add a bit of decoration. You could add some bling onto that if you wanted to. It's very robust, it's not going to fall apart. I would recommend using either our multi-purpose glue like this. You could use tape, but bear in mind if you buy some of the cheaper tape available, it will dry out and then the bits will peel off a little bit. This multi-purpose glue is permanent once it's set, and it does give you a little bit of time to get everything together. So I hope that's been useful. A different kind of box today, so as I say, a pizza style box, and the one we did yesterday was a separate box and a lid. So I hope that's been useful in both cases. So thank you so much. It's Thursday evening. Goodness me, can't believe that. So I won't be here tomorrow. I will be busy preparing for all my classes. All of the products have come in for this month's class, so I'll be getting those ready to be shipped out, and also organising the orders that came in, and anything that's been delivered in the meantime. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope it's been useful. If you have any comments or queries, or you like what you see, please do comment or add a thumbs up. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is where this video will end up. Obviously, the products I've used are current as of now. These are new products coming out in the catalogue in January. So as demonstrators, we can order those now, but they will be available to you as customers in January, unless you wish to join our team, in which case you can buy them as part of your starter kit. So thank you so much. I seem to have waffled on rather a lot this evening, so I do apologise. I'm off to another meeting, so I will catch up with you possibly over the weekend. And if not, I will definitely be here on Monday morning for our next crafting session. Thank you so much for watching. Do take care, look after yourselves and your loved ones. This whole COVID thing that we're running through at the minute is really rife, so do take care. Thank you so much. Bye for now.